Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Bachelor Nation News. Fans, Cindy stood at the edge of the rooftop, the city lights glittering beneath her like a galaxy inverted. The wind tugged at her hair, playful yet insistent, as if the universe itself was whispering secrets. It had been one of those long, exhausting weeks in the whirlwind of fame and social media. But tonight was different. Tonight was about anticipation, though she didn't yet know what awaited her. Mel, ever the enigmatic charmer, had been uncharacteristically secretive all week. He was usually full of quips and laughter, the kind of man who could make any room feel like a stage. But now he moved with a deliberate purpose, a sparkle of mischief in his eyes that Cindy recognized immediately. That mischievous sparkle was dangerous. It meant something big, something dramatic. "Cindy," Mel said, emerging from the shadows behind her. His voice was smooth, confident, and just a hint lower than usual. She turned to face him, the city reflecting in her wide eyes. "You've been acting mysterious," she said, trying to sound casual, though her heart was already racing. "I like keeping some things a surprise," Mel replied, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "But tonight, I want you to see something that's as eternal as the cosmos itself." Cindy raised an eyebrow, intrigued but skeptical. "The cosmos? Mel, are we talking astrology now, or are you about to embarrass us in front of everyone?" "Maybe a little of both," he said, smiling. "Close your eyes. Trust me." Reluctantly, Cindy closed her eyes, letting Mel guide her. He led her to a hidden platform overlooking the city skyline. The air was crisp, the stars beginning to pierce the deep velvet sky. Cindy's mind raced. Over the past months, their friendship had evolved into something neither of them had expected. The media buzzed about them constantly, romantic rumors swirling like comets in a night sky. She'd learned to protect herself, her heart guarded against grand gestures that could implode under the glare of public scrutiny. Yet standing on that rooftop, feeling the universe stretch above them, her doubts began to feel small, almost trivial. But she couldn't fully surrender. Mel had a history of theatrical gestures. One moment he was tender and intimate, the next he would pull a stunt that left her questioning everything. "Mel, if this is one of your elaborate pranks," she began, but he silenced her with a finger, pressed gently to her lips. "No tricks tonight. Just you, me, and the stars." Then he pulled out a small, elegant box. Cindy's heart skipped a beat, not because it was jewelry, but because Mel had never been the type to do something so intimate without drama. Inside the box was a certificate, embossed with gold and adorned with celestial symbols. Cindy read it aloud, her voice trembling. "This star is named after Cindy Marlowe. Its light shines for eternity." Cindy stared, stunned. Her mind tried to process. Stars were forever. They were eternal. And Mel had just made her part of that eternity. "Mel," she began, words failing her. "You are not just a star in my life," he said, taking her hands. "Now, literally, you are a star, a reminder that no matter where we go or what chaos surrounds us, you have something unchangeable, beautiful, like the universe itself. I want you to know that my feelings aren't fleeting. They're infinite." Tears welled in Cindy's eyes, a mixture of joy, disbelief, and relief. She laughed through her tears. "You are ridiculous." "And you love it," Mel teased. The city around them seemed to pause. For the first time in months, Cindy felt weightless, as if gravity itself had been replaced by the light of her star. Cameras from afar captured the moment, but Cindy didn't care. For once, the noise of the world didn't matter. She stepped in, pressing her forehead to his. I don't know what to say." "Then don't say anything," Mel replied. "Just promise me you'll look up tonight and every night after, And remember that there's a part of you shining brighter than anyone else. News of the cosmic gesture spread like wildfire. Social media exploded with praise, envy, and awe. Mel had done it again, pulled off a gesture that was equal parts romantic and show-stopping. But for Cindy, it wasn't the fame that mattered. It was the sincerity behind it. Her friends congratulated her endlessly, while some of the media speculated about a proposal, though neither of them had used that word. Cindy simply smiled, privately savoring the knowledge that this was theirs, a moment beyond headlines or public scrutiny. That night, she stepped out onto her balcony, the city lights blending with the night sky. She found the constellation where her star now officially lived and whispered softly, "Thank you, Mel." Somewhere across town, Mel looked at the same sky, grinning. He knew she'd seen it, knew she understood the depth of his gesture, and that was enough. Weeks later, Cindy still couldn't believe it. Every night she would glance upward, tracing her star's path across the sky. It was a constant in a life that often felt chaotic and unpredictable. Mel, of course, continued his flair for dramatic gestures, but Cindy had learned to trust them. For every grandiose move, there was a quiet moment of tenderness, of connection, that reminded her that love didn't have to be fleeting. It could be eternal. And every night, when the world was asleep, she would whisper to her star, "This is mine, forever." And somewhere, under the same sky, Mel would smile, knowing the cosmos had witnessed what they already knew. Some stars, like love, were meant to shine
had
forever.
always been a creature of habit. Every morning she woke to the soft hum of the city, the aroma of coffee brewing in her apartment, and the unshakable feeling that life had more in store than just routines and deadlines. She was a rising star in the world of fashion and lifestyle, beloved by fans and constantly followed by flashing cameras. Yet she craved authenticity. People saw the glamour and the glitter, but very few saw Cindy herself, her doubts, her quiet dreams, or the gentle way she smiled when she thought no one was watching. Mel Owens, by contrast, thrived in the spotlight. Charismatic, charming, and ever the master of grand gestures, he had a reputation for surprising people, and often overwhelming them. To Cindy, Mel had always been a paradox. Dazzling and unpredictable, yet deeply considerate when it mattered most. Their friendship had grown over shared dinners, late-night walks, and whispered secrets during long shoots. But lately, something had shifted. There was an intensity in his gaze, a secret energy that hinted he was planning something monumental. This Friday evening, Cindy found herself on the rooftop of a luxurious city building, her heels clicking against the marble floor. The air was crisp, tinged with the promise of rain and the subtle scent of night-blooming flowers from the terrace garden. She had received a mysterious text from Mel that read simply, "Trust me, tonight the stars are ours." Cindy rolled her eyes, a mix of amusement and exasperation curling on her lips. She knew better than to question him. Mel had a flair for the theatrical. Still, curiosity pricked at her. She had to know what he meant. When she arrived, Mel was already there, leaning against the railing, silhouetted by the glow of the city. He wore a tailored jacket, a mischievous smile dancing on his lips, and that unmistakable glint in his eyes that had always made her heart skip. "You're late," he said, though his tone was teasing rather than accusatory. "Late? I'm exactly on time for whatever this is," Cindy replied, pretending to be annoyed. Mel stepped closer, his hand brushing hers. "Close your eyes," he instructed. Cindy hesitated, but something in his gaze, trust, perhaps, or a dare, made her obey. The city lights blurred into streaks as he guided her gently to the center of the rooftop. When she opened her eyes, her breath caught. Above them, the night sky was alive. A laser projection painted constellations across the heavens, mapping stars in ways she had never seen. But one star shone brighter, larger, more radiant than the rest. And below it, a small, elegant certificate shimmered in the ambient light. "This star is named after Cindy Marlowe. Its light shines for eternity. Cindy's hands trembled. Mel, is this real? As real as the universe itself, he replied, his voice low, intimate. I wanted to give you something permanent, unshakable, something that says, you matter, always. Cosmic tension. Cindy's mind raced. Stars. Eternal. Mel. Bold, dramatic Mel standing right in front of me. She had never imagined someone would combine romance with the cosmos, yet here it was, a moment so profound it felt almost surreal. Mel, she whispered, struggling to form coherent words, this is insane. But beautiful. He grinned. Insane? Yes. Beautiful? Yes. And entirely yours. The city hummed below them, oblivious to the private magic unfolding above. Cindy felt her doubts fading, replaced by awe and a delicate warmth. Still, old fears surfaced. The world knew of Mel's gestures, and she worried about appearances. Was this love, or just a spectacular headline waiting to happen? I don't know if I can— Don't think, he interrupted gently. Just feel, look up, see your star. Know that somewhere in the vast universe, there's something as radiant as you, and it's yours. Forever. Cindy closed her eyes again, letting the wind carry away her hesitation. When she opened them, Mel was holding her hands, his gaze steady and unwavering. Friends, frenemies, and fireworks. Of course, no cosmic gesture was complete without complications. Their friends, frenzied with curiosity, had gathered secretly at nearby tables, watching from a discreet distance. And, as if on cue, Cindy's rival in the fashion world, Vanessa Lee, appeared on a neighboring rooftop, camera phone in hand, ready to capture a scandal or a story. Mel, you're ridiculous, Cindy said, half laughing, half panicked. Ridiculous? Perhaps, but you'll never forget it. Vanessa texted her followers immediately, posting snippets of the scene. But Cindy didn't care. The moment belonged to them. Mel's gesture transcended social media, headlines, and gossip. It was a quiet, intimate declaration, cloaked in
Cindy's
cosmic
pulse
symbolism.
raced as Mel led her toward the center of the rooftop. The city below glittered like 1,000 distant stars, but tonight, nothing compared to the spectacle Mel had orchestrated. The laser lights traced constellations overhead, illuminating the night sky in patterns she had only ever dreamed of seeing. Mel, this is unreal, Cindy whispered. Unreal? Mel smirked. I like to call it unforgettable. Then he handed her the certificate. She took it with trembling hands, scanning the words etched in gold. This star is named after Cindy Marlowe. Its light shines for eternity. For a moment, Cindy didn't speak. Her mind tried to process the enormity of the gesture. She had been cautious about love, weary of hearts breaking, yet here he was offering something eternal. Not a fleeting promise, but a symbol that would outlast time itself. You actually did this, she finally said, her voice a whisper. I did, Mel confirmed, stepping closer. Because some things are worth the grand gesture. You're worth it. Tears blurred her vision. I don't know what to say. Then don't, he murmured, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Just know, you matter. To me, forever. Cindy's heart skipped. The sincerity in his eyes shattered any doubt she had left, and for the first time in months, she allowed herself to simply feel joy, wonder, and love wrapped into a single glowing moment. Of course, no story of love in the limelight is complete without complications. Hidden among the shadows, Cindy's closest friends watched the scene unfold, giggling and whispering like schoolgirls witnessing the perfect romantic drama. Then there was Vanessa Lee, Cindy's rival in the fashion industry, who had somehow managed to sneak onto a neighboring rooftop with her camera phone ready. Vanessa's reputation for stirring controversy was well known, and Cindy could feel the threat of scandal looming even in the midst of such beauty. Mel, you're ridiculous, Cindy said, half laughing, half panicked. Ridiculous? Perhaps, but you'll never forget it. Vanessa began live streaming snippets of the rooftop scene. Comments poured in immediately. Is that a proposal? Who's that star for? Mel Owens is at it again. Cindy groaned. The world always found a way to intrude. But here on the rooftop, it felt like Mel's gesture created a private bubble. Nothing else mattered except the two of them and the star now bearing her name. Once the commotion had settled, Cindy leaned against Mel, letting herself enjoy the quiet aftermath of the spectacle. The city lights were reflected in her eyes, but her gaze was drawn upward, toward her star twinkling in the distance. You know, I've always been afraid of gestures like this. Too big, too public, too much for my heart. Mel tilted his head, his expression tender. I know. That's why I made sure this one was ours alone first. The city can watch later, but tonight, it's just us. Cindy exhaled, a shiver running down her spine. I can't believe you went to all this trouble. How did you even... Mel chuckled, brushing her hair back. Let's just say I had help from a few very creative friends and a little cosmic inspiration. And here I thought I knew everything about you, Cindy laughed through her tears. You never do, and I hope you never do. That's part of the fun. Their laughter faded into a comfortable silence. Then Mel took a deep breath, his voice dropping to a husky whisper. Cindy, I can be dramatic. You know that. But tonight, it's not about drama. It's about truth. You're my star. You've always been that. And I want you to know that nothing will ever change that. Cindy's heart swelled. Every fear, every doubt she had carried for months seemed to evaporate under the brilliance of this cosmic confession. Weeks passed, but the memory of that night never faded. Cindy found herself checking the skies, tracing the path of the star that now bare her name. Every night, it reminded her of the permanence of Mel's feelings and, more importantly, her own courage to accept them. The media buzzed, of course. Headlines splashed across websites. Mel Owens named star after Cindy Marlowe. A cosmic romance? Rivalry, romance, and the night sky. But Cindy no longer cared about the spectacle. What mattered was the quiet, intimate truth they shared. A connection eternal, mirrored in the cosmos. One evening, Cindy stepped onto her balcony, the city sprawling beneath her. She whispered to the star, "This is mine. Forever." Somewhere across the city, Mel looked at the same sky. A private smile tugged at his lips. He knew she had seen it, understood the gesture's depth, and he knew, as she did, that some things, like stars, like love, were meant to shine forever. The universe stretched endlessly above them, yet tonight it seemed smaller somehow, intimate. It was a canvas of infinite possibilities, yet all Cindy saw was her star, and all Mel saw was her.
The city had fallen into a lull that evening, the kind of hush that only comes when the world is pausing to listen. Streetlights shimmered on rain-slicked pavement, and the faint hum of distant traffic was the only music accompanying the night. Cindy Palmer stood on the balcony of her high-rise apartment, wrapped in a soft shawl, watching the city breathe beneath her. She was used to the city's constant rhythm, yet tonight felt different. There was a tension in the air, a spark of anticipation she couldn't explain. She had received a mysterious text earlier that day. "Meet me at the observatory tonight. Trust me, Mel." Cindy had hesitated, as anyone would when the sender was someone as unpredictable as Mel Owens. But curiosity, and something deeper she refused to name, had pulled her toward it. By the time she reached this city's observatory, a place she had visited countless times for astronomy lectures or casual stargazing, the air was thick with mist, giving the place an almost otherworldly glow. The observatory's dome gleamed faintly under the moonlight, and the giant telescope waited silently, like an ancient sentinel. Cindy's heart raced as she climbed the steps. She saw him there before he noticed her, leaning against the telescope's base, gazing at the night sky as if trying to read secrets in the constellations. "Mel," she called softly. He turned, his face lighting up with that mischievous grin that had first drawn her to him months ago. "Cindy," he said, stepping closer, his voice carrying a warmth that made her forget the chill in the air. "Of course," she said, though she was unsure what she was here for. "But what's all this about?" Mel gestured to the telescope. "Tonight, I want you to see something special, something cosmic." They ascended into the observatory's viewing deck. Mel led Cindy to the telescope, but when she peered through it, she saw not the usual twinkle of stars, but something far more deliberate, a projection of a single star highlighted, almost glowing as though it was meant to capture her gaze. "Do you see it?" Mel asked. He stood close, his shoulder brushing hers. Cindy nodded, unable to tear her eyes away from the illuminated point in the sky. It was unlike any star she had ever seen, vibrant, alive, and somehow incredibly intimate. "This star? It's yours?" Mel said, his voice low, almost reverent. Cindy blinked, unsure if she'd heard him correctly. "Yours? How?" He interrupted gently. "I named it after you. Cindy Palmer. This star, it's yours forever. Every time you look up at it, you'll know that there's something in the universe that carries your name." For a moment, the world seemed to shrink to that one luminous point, the rest of the universe fading into insignificance. Cindy felt tears prick the corners of her eyes. She wanted to speak, to laugh, to cry, all at once, but the words lodged in her throat. You did this for me?" she whispered finally, barely daring to believe it. Mel nodded, his expression serious, almost tender. "I wanted to remind you that some things are bigger than all the chaos in our lives, that some things, good things, last forever. Like this star. Like us, maybe." Cindy's chest tightened. She had been careful, for months, guarding her heart, yet here was Mel shattering every wall she had built with a single cosmic gesture. Mel extended his hand. Cindy hesitated only a second before taking it. They moved to the edge of the observatory deck, standing side by side as the night stretched endlessly above them. "I've always believed," Mel said, "that the universe has a way of reminding us what really matters. Stars, planets, they're just reminders that we're small, but that doesn't make our lives meaningless. It makes them precious." Cindy leaned her head on his shoulder. "And here I thought I was the only one who felt that way." "You're not," he said softly. "I've been thinking a lot about life, about love, about the way things slip through our fingers if we don't seize them." Cindy felt her heart catch at his words. She had known Mel long enough to see the depth behind his usual charm. Tonight, it wasn't just charm, it was sincerity, raw and shining as brightly as the star they were watching. Hours passed like minutes as they talked, the conversation flowing as effortlessly as the constellations overhead. They shared dreams, regrets, memories, some funny, some bittersweet. With each word, Cindy felt herself sinking deeper into a connection that was both exhilarating and terrifying. "I've done some things I'm not proud of, mistakes, wrong turns, but I've never regretted finding you." Cindy turned to him, searching his eyes. "Mel, I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," he replied. "Just feel it. That's enough." He took her hand, pressing it to his chest, where she could feel the steady rhythm of his heart. "I wanted you to know that some gestures can't be measured by gifts or words alone. Sometimes they're infinite. Like this moment. Like this star." Cindy's tears finally fell, warm and unstoppable. She laughed through them, a sound full of disbelief and joy. "You're ridiculous," she said, half smiling. "But I love it. I love everything about this." As dawn crept over the horizon, the first hints of sunlight painting the sky in pastel shades, Mel and Cindy remained on the deck, holding each other close. "Promise me something," he said, his voice catching slightly. "Promise me that no matter where life takes us,
You'll always look up at your star and remember this night." Cindy nodded, her forehead resting against his. "I promise." He smiled, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face. "Good, because some things are meant to last forever. And this, you, us, we're not going anywhere." The sun rose, casting golden light over the observatory. The city below stirred to life, oblivious to the cosmic secret held in that moment. And high above, in the infinite stretch of the universe, Cindy Palmer's star gleamed, eternal and untouchable, a testament to love, wonder, and the beauty of the unexpected. Weeks later, Cindy would find herself gazing at the night sky from her balcony again, the memory of that night glowing as vividly as the star named in her honor. She would think of him often, of the way he had shocked her with a gesture that transcended ordinary romance, and she would smile, knowing that some gifts, some feelings, were truly cosmic. For Mel Owens, the daring and unpredictable, had shown her that love could be infinite, that the universe could bend to reveal what truly mattered, and that sometimes the grandest gestures are those that last forever.